Hello, tribe, and welcome to today's masterclass When Overwhelm Becomes Your Normal. As you can see by my screen, I am not alone today. I have a very special guest for you. I'm so excited. Michelle Clarkson is here. She is an executive leadership strategy and a coach. She is awesome. I cannot wait for us to start this conversation and help you beat overwhelm with strategies that actually work for you. We're not here to give you fluff. We are here to give you as much value as we can. So I'm very, very excited. As you start joining in live, say hello in the comments if you are watching us. Doesn't matter if it is on WhatsApp, if it is on Facebook. Please say hello in the comments so we know that you are here. And if you are catching this on the replay, comment hashtag team replay because it always makes us happy to know when you are watching these masterclasses, especially we put so much love in it and we know that, sometimes it's just hard to show up. And if you're showing up for the replay, comment hashtag replay so we know that you are here. Okay. Michelle, can you introduce yourself a little bit so people who don't know you can know a little bit about you, or should I go first?
Well, you know what? Why don't you go first? Since this is your amazing.
Yes. So my name is Erika. I am your coach for what's next. What does that mean? I am here to help you move forward in a way that brings you clarity, structure, and a regulated nervous system. I have been on a healing journey like many of you for years and years. It's been more than a decade. And I reached to a point where I was like, okay, time to do the work forward, time to build. So that's what I help people do, to build their lives and create their dream lives in a way that is actually sustainable. I am a certified life coach. I am also a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher. I'm a writer, amongst other things. And yeah, that's just what I do, what I'm passionate about. Let's move forward. That's all I am about.
Awesome. Well, I love it. Well, thank you for having me here with you today, Erica. And I am Michelle Clarkson, executive leadership strategist and coach. And I work with women and I help women who have become disconnected from the overwhelm of life where you're carrying too much. And I help women reconnect to who they are, release those things that no longer serve you, and become the version of the woman that you know that you are meant to be. So this topic today, I am so excited about it because this is my lane, and all the women that I deal with so often are just overwhelmed and don't even realize sometimes that they are overwhelmed. They're just dealing with the symptoms of being overwhelmed and don't know how to get back to who they were.
Exactly. And that's why I feel that this conversation is so important, because sometimes we just get into the busyness and in the movement and we don't realize that we are acting from survival, right? We are completely overwhelmed. We make decisions that we aren't supposed to be making. We feel a certain way and we don't even know what's going on. And a lot of times it is overwhelmed. So I see that people are starting to join us live. Say hello in the comments. Let us know your names, where you are tuning in. We are so excited that you are here with us. And thank you for the love, I think, on Facebook. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for
So,
joining us.
yes. So we're here to share some strategies with you, right? So we're kind of blinded from the strategies that each of us has. So it's going to be funny to see what strategies do you have to share, Michelle, and what strategies do I have to share, because we're kind of the same in what we like to talk about in work, but obviously there's always different approaches. And I would love to hear, what would you say one of your best strategies to beat overwhelm? So when somebody just comes to you, or somebody's right now at home or watching this from work and being like, oh my God, I feel like I have so much on my plate. I can't deal with this, anything else on my plate, and I'm just going to go nuts. Like, I feel like I'm about to burn out right now. So what would one of your main strategies be?
So one of the main strategies when you're at that point of it's like I am burnt out, I don't know what to do and why I'm even feeling like this. The first main important strategy is you need to step back first
Mm,
and ask yourself the question, what do I need?
mhm.
And not what everyone else needs, but you. Because a lot of times when we're overwhelmed, it's because of all those things that we're doing, pouring into others, whether it's at home, work. But the first and most important strategy is asking yourself, what do I need right now?
Mm. I
Yes.
love that. I love that because usually when we are in this kind of turmoil of everything that's going on, we're just trying to serve others and help others out, especially as women. It's so engraved in us, right?
Hmm.
And we don't ask ourselves, okay, what do I need? Okay, I'm doing all of this for everyone, and
Exactly.
what do I need? And I feel this is such a powerful question for you that can change the spiral of overwhelm completely. Just you asking that question to yourself. Really
Yes.
find it's
Because
powerful.
what it does, I feel, is it pushes you to make that decision that once you decide, what do I need right now?
Yeah.
You're making the choice that I am choosing me.
Mm.
And there is nothing wrong with choosing yourself. Actually, you should be choosing yourself every day and making yourself a priority. So, when you do that, you're taking that first step to make yourself a priority, you and your needs a priority.
Mm. Oh my God, I love this. And I love the fact that I asked you first because this is a beautiful foundation. Because once you understand this part, then the rest can work.
Mhm.
Because if you don't understand that you have to put yourself in the center sometimes and be like, okay, what are my needs? Then you are not going to be able to implement anything else, basically. So
Yes.
I love that we are starting over here.
Mhm.
And part of me is thinking about all of these people that are thinking, oh my God, yeah, like I understand this, but
What do
it's
I do?
so hard.
Yes.
Like, how do I actually do it? Right. And
Mhm.
when I'm working with my clients, what I like to do is starting slow and small, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes when you tell people this, they automatically do it like this, like, oh, I can't do this,
Mhm.
right? Because they think they have to do this big thing. That's
Yes.
what happens, especially when we are overwhelmed. We are overcome with emotion, with so many things to do. And I would say to those people, just think about one little thing. You don't have to, okay, just all of your needs now need to be met. Just think
Mhm.
about that little thing, right? Sometimes it's like you just need 10 minutes of silence so you can think.
Yes, and you see how, like, when you said that, because my children are now grown adults, but I used to have a rule with them because I was a single parent mom. So, just being in that space, that was a lot on me. So, navigating being a single parent mom, navigating corporate America. So, the rule every day when I came through the door, we had a 15-minute rule. And that 15-minute rule was allow me to be in my room, to change my clothes, to decompress and get ready for the second job because just left work, but you're coming home to mom.
Mhm.
And just being able to have that 15-minute reset, it allowed me to be ready for the excitement, the questions, and the additional attention that someone was going to need from me. So I love that you said that because, yes, and it's the little things. Like you said, it doesn't have to be this big grand gesture. And sometimes we think that unless something is big or we see this big accomplishment or transformation that we feel needs to happen, that things aren't happening. But that's why you just have to take those little steps and then start celebrating the small wins.
Mhm.
When you become aware that I am overwhelmed and you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a second and ask myself that question, what do I need right now? And then
Mhm.
start implementing that and doing that and making that one of your habits when that pops up. And then that's something that you then start embodying. So it's celebrating that little win that you took that step and it's now part of your routine. So those small
Yeah.
wins are really important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I love celebrating. I love celebrating little wins. I encourage my clients to celebrate their little things at the end of the day. Just write down your wins. I love doing that. And I love encouraging people to do that. But they're like, oh, that's not a win. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not a win?
Mhm.
So during 20, 30 years, 40 years, you were doing the exact same things and you could not break the pattern. So today you broke the pattern a little bit. Isn't that a win? Right?
Yes.
And then when you are doing this, you are teaching your brain that, oh, this is nice. I want to do more. I want to have more things to celebrate. I want to have more wins. So
Mhm.
it's a beautiful practice, and I love that you mentioned that. So strategy number one is to actually stop for a moment and ask yourself, what do I need? And it can be, what do I need right now in this moment? What do I need? And then go ahead and do it later when you get to your home, but just
Mhm.
think about your needs. This can go as big and as small and as spaced as you want it to be. And I love that. We started on such a good note.
Like,
Okay.
oh, started off great. Yes. Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So the strategy that I have to share is because usually when we think about overwhelm, we think about, I have so many things to do. Life is so busy. Work is crazy. My partner is annoying me. My kids don't leave me alone, right?
Yes.
And yes, external circumstances can give you a bunch of overwhelm, but what ultimately is going to make you feel overwhelmed is your energy and your emotions. So what I would advise people to do is to assess their emotional life,
Mhm.
just getting used to, and you're so big on reconnecting with yourself and just who are you, how are you feeling, right? And just think about, okay, how am I dealing with my emotions on a daily basis? So
Yes.
when I feel anxious, when I feel overwhelmed, do I give myself enough time to ask the question that just Michelle just made us all think about? Do I give myself time to stop and then regroup? Or am I just overriding my emotions and then keep going? Because all of this is always going to stack up on each other. All of these things, all of the moments that you kind of neglect yourself, you push your feelings away. So there's one end of the spectrum. Like, are you neglecting your emotions? And then are you hyper focused on how everybody around you is feeling? Are you feeling responsible for, what? I need silence for 10 minutes. My kids don't know what to do. Find something to do, right? You
Exactly.
are not responsible for other people's emotions, right? You
Mhm.
are responsible for your emotions. Obviously, your kids, you can help them regulate, but we have to think about how we are carrying other people's emotions with us and knowing to just pass on the responsibility. Because if you are trying to help everybody else feel good and you never stop to think about yourself, then what are we doing, right?
Yes, 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 yes. And I love that. And it's like we are so entwined because it's like as I think about that second strategy that I had,
Mhm.
it was, where are you saying yes when you already know internally that you're doing too much or you have too much?
Yeah.
And that goes into exactly what you said. We're worried about others, the people pleasing, what will they say if I say no? Or what? None of that matters. Because if we go back to what we talked about with strategy one, making you the priority, if you're the priority, guess
Mhm.
what? It is okay to say no.
Oh,
And no is a complete sentence. There's no explanation that is needed with that. But for some reason, we've been conditioned to feel that if we say no to something, then I owe you a reason. You can get one if you want to, but you are not obligated to explain your no. It's a no. If something doesn't align with you, if is something that's going to drain your energy, just like you were talking about,
yeah.
it's a no for me. And guess what? I don't give explanations. It's just no. And no, thank you. I'll tell you if it's an invite to something, no, thank you, but I'm not going to be able to attend and be okay with that.
Yeah.
And, once you're able to trust your voice and be clear and grounded in who you are, telling people no, staying firm and grounded in who you are, those things come easy because you realize at that point how important you are in protecting your peace is.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I also would like to just drop in a word for the people who really struggle with boundaries, who really think like I am putting a boundary and this is this wall around me, right? I get that a lot, especially when I'm talking about boundaries, when I'm teaching boundaries. And I just want to invite everybody to think about boundaries in a different way. Okay. You're not closing doors. You're not closing doors. You are opening them so people can love you and respect you the way you deserve, right?
Yes.
When you're setting boundaries, it's like, I'm sure you, for some people, yes, you cut them off, done deal. But
Yes.
for most of people, you're just showing your loved ones how to love you and how to respect you, right?
Absolutely.
If you have a healthy relationship and you need to do certain things, right? So for example, I'm a trauma survivor and my nervous system is very dysregulated sometimes. And like, I need my yoga, I need my meditation, I need my alone space, right? And not once I have my partner bugging me, you know, he will actually be, oh, you're going to meditate now, right? That's how healthy works. So please let's remember that in a healthy relationship, in partnerships or whatever that is, your needs are always valid. Okay. Your needs are always valid. So do not forget it. Do not forget it,
Yes.
please.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you said that too about, you know, partnership or, relationship, what have you, because sometimes we feel like our needs aren't valid and you're just pouring into that person so much. But, kind of going back to what you said about boundaries, no, they're not meant to keep people away from you. And like you said, now some people you do put boundaries in place and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you're done for life. I say, sometimes I've had to put people in the lifers club, meaning that's that. But boundaries, just like you said, they teach people how to treat you because once someone knows, okay, this is something that doesn't align with you, they'll stop doing that. But if you don't stand firm in your boundaries, no one has the opportunity to know that. And then there are times where we do have boundaries, they're just not strong enough.
Yes.
That's the thing. I hear a lot from women, oh, I have boundaries in place. And then when they
Yeah.
start sharing stuff, and I'm like, but how strong is that boundary? Because look at what is still going on, but you
Yep.
said you had a boundary. So, it's just teaching people, like you said, how to love you, how to treat you, and how to respect you. It's not to keep them away, it's to make sure that you have a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes we feel that we can't be open and honest with our feelings because going back to kind of the people pleasing and being concerned about that validation of what will someone think. But you don't realize how freeing it is when you're able to be open and honest. And sometimes those conversations that you're avoiding having to share with somebody how you truly feel are the
Right.
things that change everything and make the relationship better. Because unless you make someone aware, you're not being fair to them and giving them an opportunity to change whatever behavior is bothering you. We're not mind readers. And while I know that a lot of people think that
Oh,
someone's just going to know, they're not going to know. That's why
no.
communication, trusting your voice, and just saying how you feel is so critical.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they don't have to. People don't have to know how you feel about something. We are all different. I had this therapist that she told me, like, you should stop waiting for people to act like you, right? I'm hyper preoccupied. So I will always be like, how is everybody feeling? I will pay a lot of attention, which is a trauma response as well. It helps me as a
Mhm.
coach because I'll be like, I'm locked in, like I know how you feel. But at the same time, it's like I'm exhausted because I'm always checking how is everybody feeling. But like not everybody's like you. And they don't have to be like you. I love what you said, and I love how you tapped into a little bit into vulnerability without saying the word, because sometimes we're overwhelmed because we are carrying so much inside our heads, right? And we don't share with our loved ones. I had like a bad day last week, and openly I just sat down with my partner. I'll be like, I'm so stressed today. today I'm just having the most horrible day. And he understood, and it's not like he did too much, but I was like, oh, that kind of lessened the load a little bit.
Yes, it's the release.
Yeah,
And sometimes that's all it is needing to get something out. So that's why it's so important to speak how you're feeling, get out of your head and express those emotions, because those are the things when we're overwhelmed that keep us exhausted. Because guess what? You stay in your head and you cannot rest. Yes,
yeah,
you're so tired, but when your head hits the pillow, you're not going to sleep because your mind is racing with all of those thoughts. So it's so important to have that release. Just share your feelings, get it out there.
yeah. Yeah. This goes along with the strategy that we were both going to mention, which is having people to share and having experts to help you out. I remember having a client, she was like telling me about, oh, Erica, but like, do you really want to hear about all this? I'm like, you're paying me to hear all
It's
of
like, this
this.
is what I do. Of course I
I
do.
quit my teaching job to do this. Like, I
Mhm.
like this. I want to hear your story. I want to hear your struggles, and I want to help you. Let me help you lessen the load,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. It's like, yeah. And one thing too that I talk to a lot about with women in when they're overwhelmed and trying to reconnect to, who they are, is just like you said, like, yes, I want to hear these things, but until you take the step to get these things out, nothing is going to change. So we all know the definition of insanity, expecting something different, but you keep doing the same thing. And so, I often find that sometimes if I'm doing certain things where I may be trying to capture feedback and I'm meeting with people or I talk to women and they start sharing, but then they'll say, well, no, I don't think I need any help. And just like you were saying earlier, you tap into a pattern that you have been operating in for over 20 plus years. That pattern does not go away just because you've had a discussion that's brought some awareness to you. And
Yeah,
sometimes we do need to make that step to invest in ourselves.
yeah.
We do it all the time when we think about our personal investments. You see these names? I mean,
Hmm.
that is a non-negotiable in Michelle's life over here. The hair before it was red, it was blonde. So there are things that we do to invest in ourselves on the outward, but those things inwardly, sometimes there's that apprehension to open up and seek that help. But sometimes that is the thing that gives you the breakthrough to change your life. Even from a fitness standpoint. Um, I've been working with a trainer since last July, and over my life, my weight has been up and down, different things with medication causing me to gain weight. And I've lost weight and I know how to lose weight. But as I'm getting older, being conscious of my body composition
Yeah.
and wanting that to change. And okay, what you were doing, Michelle, was not working. So it's like, no, invest in someone to help you. So in this space too, when you're overwhelmed, when you get to a point where you're just carrying so much and some of these things that we're talking about start impacting you, it is really hard to change and break those patterns on your own. Because just like I have a trauma background as well. And I think that that is why this space is something where I'm so passionate about, but where it's such an ease to be able to help women because it's like, oh, been there, dealt with that. That's me. It's like after 25 years in corporate leadership, and like I said, being a single parent mom, I'm a domestic abuse survivor. I'm like, bring it on, sister. I mean, what is it? Financial struggles, been there. Okay. Doubting yourself, yes. But look at us today. That is the
Yes.
thing. You can drop the weight, reconnect to who you are, and come out a better person, a new version, or get back to the version that you were.
Yeah.
But who you are right now, oh, she can get out of here if you want her to.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we're experts at certain things, but we're not experts at everything.
Right.
So there is this strive for perfection, and we need to have to be able to figure it out. That's a trauma
Mm.
response. That
Exactly.
is a past response. There is I had a masterclass last week where I was telling about these vows that we make to ourselves, right? So I've been through a traumatic situation. I promise I'm not going to trust anyone ever again. I'm alone because I asked for help and nobody helped me. And I was like, I'm alone. I'm going to do I'm going to do everything by myself right now. So break those vows. That's not real. That helped you survive back then. It's not going to help you right now because right now we're not on a surviving journey. We are on a healing journey. We are on a forward movement journey. That's what we're doing here. So please, if you feel overwhelmed, go get that support. Go get Michelle, go get Erika, go talk to your partner, right? Go, but just make sure you know you deserve this, you are worthy of this. And let's move away from resorting to past mechanisms. When you're like, oh, I can't, I have to figure this out by myself. No, you don't.
It just hasn't worked for you, trying to figure it out by yourself. And I love what you just said about being worthy. That is so critical because when we get to a point where we're overwhelmed and we have so much on our plate and it's just like, oh, I don't know where to turn, I don't know what to do. It's in those moments where you start saying to yourself, I'm not enough, or I'm not worthy of something better, or whatever. And it's like, yes, you are. So I love that you said that because we are all worthy. We are all amazing, special, no matter what it is that you've gone through. And guess what? Everybody goes through something in life.
Yeah.
And if you haven't experienced something traumatic, I'm so happy for you. But there's still going to be something that you go through in life. It may not be a traumatic experience, but there is going to be something that you experience in life that is going to be a pivotal shift, that's going to be something transformational. And going through that may not be a happy time, but what I can tell you is just like you said, that healing journey and getting to the other side, the joy, the freedom, the happiness, the peace, it all comes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it right because we are going, it's like we forget. For example, I work with people who've done some work already, right? So they assume because they have been through this healing journey that they should be able to just do everything else, right? But for every level, the quote is for every level, there's another level, right?
Yes.
So you're going to find, you're going to find difficulties, and that's part of life, and that is okay. What it's not okay is for you to sit there and overwhelm and be like, no, I have to figure this out, and I have to just be with these horrible feelings and do nothing. Free yourself, ask for that help. Oh, I think we have a question. Hi, Rosie. What did you say about? But the question is not complete, Rosie. Can you ask your question again so we know what you're talking about? And I think she's asking for us to repeat something. But yeah, I love that. I feel like we gave you like 10 strategies in one, but
yes. Yes.
Take notes, everyone. Take notes.
Yes,
okay?
this is the real masterclass today. Okay.
Yeah, this is the real masterclass. Yeah, this is the real masterclass. And I would advise everyone to just, if you're like doing something and you're on the go, whatever, watching this, sit down and take some notes and take what is it that, because probably you are very good with boundaries, but like you haven't been asking for help if you've been facing a problem for like, it's been 3 years now, okay?
Yes. Or that conversation you've been avoiding for 5 years, It's like, have the conversation, just release yourself, stop worrying about what that other person is going to think about, and go back to that first strategy that I said. What do you need right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. This is good. I love this.
Oh my God, I love it.
I love this. I love this. One final strategy that I have on my end, and then obviously if you have more, please bring them on, is creating structure in your life. Because I see a lot of people feeling very overwhelmed, and they have an entire business. They have these plans. They have all of these things that they want to do, but there is no structure. Or maybe they have a very strict structure in business, but then the rest of their life is very chaotic, right? So it's like, if you don't structure your life in a way that is going to support whatever you're trying to build, then you're just going to be overwhelmed because you have all of this noise over here and you won't be able to focus. If your emotions are not in check, if you are not making that time for yourself every day to check in, to ground yourself, then you're going to feel overwhelmed throughout the day, right? So I know this is like big, and and people will be like, oh my God, structure. Okay, for some people, it's kind of stressful to build that. Again, ask for help. I'm all for helping you create structure in your life to go after what you want in a sustainable way. But if you're watching this masterclass, think about, how are you living your life? Are you letting just life, like Michelle said, are you just saying yes when you want to say no? Are you checking in with your needs? What is there a structure in your life? I don't mean just go like you're in the army, but just have a certain structure. How do you want to live your life? I'm very open about how I love working with my menstrual cycle, and that's the structure that makes sense for me. I want to be able to have more rest when I'm on my menstrual cycle. I want to be able to go full on when I'm my ovulatory phase, and that's when I do my challenges. But have that structure in your life that allows you to beat overwhelm on the spot, because I don't like just to be here in an emergency situation. I want you to be able to have a structure and a foundation that beats overwhelm on the spot, meaning you structure your days, your week, your year, your month in a way that is going to help you and give you that foundation for you to not feel overwhelmed all the time. Because we can talk about saying no and boundaries all day, but as Michelle said, you have to do the work. And the way that I feel you can do the work is you having a structure that you follow. And then it just becomes your way of living. I'm going to be honest.
Yes.
Like, I'm not sitting down every day here be like, in my structure.
Okay, right. No. That structure allows you to live your life. That is the thing, because we're very busy. We're both running businesses. And even as I think about like the 25 plus years I spent in corporate, I had to have structure because, one, to be able to get the work done. Both of my children were involved in extracurricular activities, sports. It's like, no, everything had to be structured and organized so that I didn't have that overwhelm of everything, feeling like it's on me. And we all have things that we need to do.
Yeah.
But in that day, what's the most important thing? And it's funny because you think about the little things. You see this post-it note right here? So when you talk about, the structure, and it's yellow because this is my urgent. So anything that I put on here for the day is something that I know must be done today.
Yeah.
Now there's other lists, other places, but they're not the priority. So when I get to them, I get to them. And that's the thing, taking that pressure off of yourself, so that you don't feel that overwhelmed. But I love what you said, because structure is so important. And when you have that structure in your place in your life as the woman, if you're a mother, guess what? You're going to be able to help your children out because you will implement structure in their life. And so as they continue to grow, they will be able to embody that structure. And once they start their life, that's how they know that things should be. So when chaos in life happens, they're like, whoop, we got this, because this is the schedule and the structure that I stick to.
Exactly. I'm like, yes. And please, when we're talking about structure, I think Michelle is going to agree with me. I'm not telling you that you just need to structure your meetings and whatever you have to do with your kids. Structure, put self-care in that calendar.
Oh, yes.
Put that daily meditation on your iCall.
Yes.
So when it rings, you go ahead and you meditate, right?
Yes.
That's what I mean by structure. Because if you want to implement everything that you've been learning, because if you're tuning in, you probably are into the personal growth world and into the healing world, and you kind of know what to do. But if you want, you need to implement all of these things, because otherwise we'll just be like doing masterclasses for the rest of our lives.
Got to take the massive action to make the change happen.
Exactly. Put that thing on your calendar. Make yourself a tracker and implement that structure, because it's gonna reduce your overwhelm so much. I know people are sometimes get so overwhelmed by this, because it's now it's another thing that I have to do. It's not another thing, it's the thing.
It's a
It
thing.
is the thing.
Yes.
The thing that you
The
have
thing.
to reduce overwhelm.
Yes. And when we think about time,
Especially if you struggle with anxiety, because
yeah.
clarity.
And the one thing I was going to say too, if we think about time, those 24 hours you're given, we have a lot of time in a day. And when that structure is in place, that's when you realize how much time you really have, because a lot of us don't even get enough rest that we need anyway. So the average person is not around here sleeping 8 to 10 hours a night. So that's not even happening. So if you think about the fact that maybe you're getting 6 or maybe 7 hours of sleep, well, what are you doing with all those other hours of time that you have?
Yeah.
And going back to, like you said, as far as the calendar and that personal time, like my mornings, for the first 3 hours, or really longer than that, it's all about me and my time. I get up in the morning, like we were talking about before we started this, and I train with my trainer at 5:30 every morning. So my alarm goes off at 4:30. I said my alarm goes off. I didn't say I get out of bed. My alarm goes off at 4:30. I know I have to be out of here no later than by 5 after 5. But by the time I get back home, it's usually almost 7, and then I come in, I eat my breakfast, then I get on the treadmill at home, then it's meditation time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to be in the right headspace.
Same.
Before I start my day. And also before I start working with women. Because going back to what you said too about, always checking on other people and wanting to know how everyone's doing. Like in this space, you do carry a little of what others are dealing with. And so you have to be in that right headspace, the right energy. And once all those things are done, it's like, okay, let's start the day. But every day, that is the structure that I put in place, because one, I know that I'm busy. We're both busy, and as an entrepreneur, you're busy. Yes, it's like, yay, I have my schedule that I can manage. But for some reason, I felt like when I was still in the workplace, I was like, why didn't the day seem like this? Like, I never thought I'd be saying at home, I need more time, but there are times that I feel like that. But those things that are non-negotiable is starting the day focused on me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's your structure, right? I have a different structure. So we keep getting back to what is it that you need, right? You have to think about, what do I need? What do I need to achieve my goals? And what structure can I build that does not make me neglect myself, sacrifice myself, and burn out? That's the formula.
Yeah, that's it. And I love what you just said, because it makes me think about my last strategy that I had, because it ties into that. And sometimes we become overwhelmed, going back to the fact of, because you don't say no when you know that you want to say yes. So before you make your next decision this week, check in with yourself first before you make that decision. Don't just say yes. Check in with yourself first. Does this align? Do I have the capacity for this? Is it something that I want to do? And if it's a no, guess what? It's a no. And I can say no with a smile and have no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes I feel like we have this pressure. I used to watch my partner all the time. The phone rang and he was like, I'm like, do you know you can breathe before answering your phone and actually decide if you want to answer your phone right now?
Yeah.
We get to, if you don't know if you want to do something or if that's aligned with you, you can take as much time as you want.
Yes.
Sometimes you do have to act fast. Come on. Okay, go ahead and do it. But most of the time, let me think about it. If you don't have it in you to just immediately say, no, that doesn't align, let me think about it. And then you will be able to craft a little message
Exactly. And be like, okay, now I
And
feel okay.
now I feel okay. I feel good with this decision. Let me
Yeah.
craft this, send this message. Okay. It's like, it is okay.
Yeah, because when
Right?
you don't check in with yourself and you say yes to those things that you really don't do or don't really use your voice, then that adds to the overwhelm because that's something else that you've now placed on your plate that your mind is like, oh my goodness, why didn't I say this? I don't
Mhm.
really want to do that. So then you're just adding another component to all the things that you're already carrying when you don't have to. So yeah, check in with yourself before you make that next decision on something this week. And
Mhm.
sometimes, like you said, we don't have all the information and it's like, let me think about that. But check in with yourself to make sure that that decision aligns. And earlier, you had said something too about, a lot of times when women become overwhelmed, we're just operating in survival mode and
Mhm.
autopilot and not realizing life is passing us by.
Yeah.
Every day is a gift. And so those 10 years that have passed, you don't get those back. And if you
Yeah.
think about if you've been suffering or dealing with this overwhelm for all that time, you don't get that time back, but you can reclaim the time now. And there's
Yeah.
a difference in living your life and existing in your life.
Yeah.
And the goal should just be to live, and in living, you're in control. You're doing the things that you want to do. You are the CEO of your life. And
Yeah.
I share that with women all the time, and they're like, "Oh, well, no, Michelle, like you're the CEO of your company. You were a
Mm.
leader when you were in corporate." No,
Mm.
we're all the CEO of who we are. You're the CEO of you.
Yeah.
That's your first leadership role. And if you can't lead yourself, everything else in your life is not going to align. If you can't lead yourself, you're not going to be an effective leader if that's a role that you've been given on your job. So, as we started, it all goes back to you. And that's just the one thing that sometimes when we're just overwhelmed, we forget how important we are.
Yeah. Exactly. And just that just makes me think about the power of pause, which is one of the things that people struggle with the most, right? Because they have been on the wheel for so long. And sometimes we can't just see that if we pause, everything will be better, right? So just please, everyone, if you can just put it in your brain somewhere, right? Let's put it in our brains. I used to do this with my students, put it in our brains. Next time you're like very overwhelmed, pause, even if you don't want to. Okay. You will not want to pause. Don't wait for you to be like, when I'm called. No,
No.
make yourself pause.
Say, I have
Okay.
to do this now. Yes.
You know what? I think we gave you so much to think about. We gave you so much to think about, so many strategies to implement. And of course, this is an overwhelm-free masterclass. So we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave you thinking about these things, but obviously take notes and start acting on it, okay? Because thinking, awareness, you've done a lot of that. It's time to actually take action. We have a comment by Cherie, and it says, I loved what you said about boundaries. Can you repeat a really useful way you saw them? Oh, I think Cherie is I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, by the way. I think she's referring to the fact that we spoke about boundaries as a way that it's not closing a wall in front
Yes.
of you, it's you opening the door, right? You are
Mhm.
opening the door to people to teach them how to love you, how to treat you, and how to respect you, right? We tend to see boundaries as we are closing this so people don't come in and don't violate us, right? If we see it as like a defense mechanism, it's actually an opening mechanism to the right people, right?
Yes.
To the healthy people, to the healthy relationship. So I hope I answered your question correctly. I think that's what you were talking about. Um,
Yeah.
Michelle, what else can we say before we close this beautiful conversation?
Well, one, just like you said, we have dropped, a lot of strategies. And, when I think about the work that both of us do, well, yes, we both help women, but, as we talked before, I kind of look at, I get the woman with the overwhelm before she's had an opportunity to come back and reconnect to herself and help guide her, to get to that point. And then, you come in and you're making sure that once you get to that point, that you're able to sustain that and the things and the tools that you have. So this is something that you embody all the time. So this is just one of the things, like, as we kind of close out today, that as we talked about, our routine, the structure in our life, the work that we do daily, it's daily. It's a daily thing, And yes, when you get through that point and you're able to heal and get to the other side, it's like, ooh, yes. But just like when you lose weight, what is your plan to maintain that weight loss?
Yeah.
You have to do something to keep the weight off. So once you've gotten to this point where you're reconnected back to yourself, life is great, you have boundaries in place, you're clear, you're grounded, you're confident in who you are, those things that you did to get there, you have to keep doing them. And it all goes back to you, just remembering, as you said, your worth, you are enough, and just being open to change in your life. So that's, that would be my parting words for you ladies. Just be open to change and doing something different, but nothing happens until you take that step.
Exactly. And also, I just wanted to add something, because sometimes we keep doing things that worked for us before. I just wanted to make it really, really clear that sometimes you reach to a point where what you did before is not going to work anymore, especially if you are playing at another league, right? Yes. If you choose a different way of living, if you're transforming your life completely, some of the things that used to help you, set boundaries at work, they're not going to help you with scarcity mentality when you're starting a business, for example. So do not beat yourself up if you're like, yeah, I'm doing those things and these things are not working. So we need new strategies, right? And that's where, people like me, like Michelle, come in as coaches to help you come up with new strategies or to adjust the strategies that you already were using so you can actually thrive and you can move on and continue to achieve your beautiful dreams. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Thrive and not survive, ladies. Thrive.
No. We're done with that. Okay.
Yes.
We are so done with that.
It is time to thrive and live your best life.
Exactly. So I am going to share with you, since we are on a bunch of platforms, I'm going to share with you. So if you want to follow Michelle, she's Michelle Clarkson everywhere. Okay. You can find her, especially on Facebook. That's where she hangs out the most. Isn't that right, Michelle? Yes. Okay. So, and if you want to find me, I am Forward with Erika on Facebook and on Instagram. Like Michelle, I hang out on Facebook a lot, even though I'm kind of like leaning into YouTube. I don't know if you noticed.
Yes.
So good things are coming on YouTube. But anyways, follow us. And if you resonated with me, if you resonated with Michelle, make sure to send us a DM, say hi, let us know what you thought about this masterclass. And if you have any questions about how to work with us, we're very open people, okay? Just send us a DM. We will be more than happy to point you in the right direction if it is aligned with you and with us, okay? This has been amazing. I'm so happy. Michelle, thank you so much.
We have to do this again.
Yeah, we have to do this again. I feel like, oh my God, we were talking about things and I'm like, oh, but this is, for example, boundaries is a whole different topic, right?
I mean, that's a whole masterclass in itself.
That's a whole masterclass. So Tribe, if you loved our conversation, let us know if you want us to do a different one and tell us, like, what do you want? What would you like us to talk about next? And then maybe we show up.
Yes, this has been awesome. And one thing too that I want to throw out this month, I'm doing a case study to try to capture information. So if there is anyone that's listening today that knows that you're in this spot, I am opening up spaces where I'm working with women 3 days out of the month. Pick just 3 days, 30 minutes, and I just, at the end, all I want is a testimonial on the experience so that I'm able to use that feedback on my presence to power method. So if any of you ladies would like to take advantage of that, no charge to that. Make sure to send me a DM or reach out.
Take advantage of
Yes,
it.
yes, take advantage.
That
I need the
sounds
feedback. Yes.
Yes, yeah, of course, of course. That sounds amazing. Okay, tribe, this was so beautiful. Thank you so much for to the ones who showed up live. I see you, Shari. I see you, Rosie. Everyone else who liked. I don't know your names. You have to put your names over there in
But
the chat
yes,
box
thank you
so
for
I know
showing
who
up.
you
And
are.
those that will go back and watch the replay, we hope this
Yes,
information will be something that touches you and lets you know that yes, you can.
yes, you can. Yes, you are worthy. Yes, you can do this. Okay, go ahead and be awesome. And I'll see you on the next one.
Okay, yes. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.